read as Hi, my name is Chris Nolan with Wujibliss. We're doing an astrology webinar. Our theme for tonight is Hellenistic Astrology, specifically sect techniques and profection years. We'll also be focusing on Pluto and its transit through Aquarius. We have many volunteers. We have Siobhan, Catherine, Amber, Bo, and many others. And I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who volunteered. I did email some assets today, but I also will have them up on the screen. And let me just explain a little bit what Hellenistic astrology is and why it's helpful to us. First of all, before Hellenistic astrology, when we were in ancient Greece, we would rely on our predictions by visiting the Oracle of Delphi. And above the Oracle of Delphi is a sign that says, Know Thyself. And then concurrently, people would visit the Oracle of Delphi and they would also talk to the astrologers who were watching the fixed stars and the planets that were moving across the fixed stars. And during Hellenistic astrology, they decided to update some of the earlier astrology by introducing the house system, by giving each of the planets masculine or feminine qualities, by doing a chart ruler, to doing an individual natal chart for individual people, because before that, in the hundreds of years before Hellenistic, we were looking at the stars to predict things for the community, like when to plant seeds and when to harvest, whether or not to go to war, and the timing of that. Sometimes timing for the merchants, or if like whether the king should get married or not. But with Hellenistic astrology, we started getting the 12 zodiac, a 12 house system, and also the chart rulers. And we started doing birth natal charts for individual people. And so Hellenistic astrology is actually the foundation of what our current modern Western astrology is today. And that is why I wanted to focus on it. There are also a lot of very easy, attainable techniques that everyone can use. And so I wanted to share that with you so that if you wanted to share your insight and advice with someone and say, I know how to pull up my chart, I know what the theme of this year is, I think that would be very helpful. Again, right over the Oracle of Delphi, Know Thyself. So that is what we're going to do. First and foremost, with sect, the technique sect, we divide the chart at the horizon and we determine whether it is a day chart or a night chart. And that really indicates the strength of the planet. And we're going to talk about that in detail. And the other part of profection is that every single year of your life, you have a focus on an individual house in your natal chart. And we're going to dive right in. So that's my little intro. And I'm going to start with my volunteers. I actually heard from Catherine first, and I see Catherine here. Thank you, Kate. I'm going to write down your name right now. Catherine, may I start with you tonight, please? Let me just check the chat.
Yeah,
thank you.
Sorry, I'm having a problem with my...
No, you're perfect. Fine. So as always, when we do our webinar, I like to share my screen. So if you can just confirm that you can see my screen, I would be most helpful.
Yep.
I would be most appreciated. All right, terrific.
Yeah, I can see.
Now, so usually, stay in placidus. Usually, when I do charts, I use Western astrology, and I like to include all of the asteroids. But in Hellenistic astrology, and with the techniques we're using tonight, we'll be using whole house, and we will not be using the asteroids. We will be using the 7 traditional planets. And so we're going to go to settings like we usually do. But when we choose settings, Catherine, we're going to go from general to houses, And on houses, we're going to change it from placidus to whole sign. When we're doing predictive astrology, which is what we're doing, when we're doing Hellenistic astrology, we're going to stay in whole sign houses. And we're also going to focus on the 7 planets. Here on the left-hand side, we have a list of the 7 planets, and those are the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And those are the traditional rulers of the 12 zodiac signs. We are not going to be using Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto as the ruling planets. Here on the bottom left, you'll see our profection chart. And then here in the middle, you'll see our current transits, which will be very relevant. Because I like to have as much information as possible for you, here in the middle on the bottom, you'll see a picture of all of the relevant glyphs. I also emailed you this asset right here. So if it's easier to bring up all this data at home, please do so. I also have, in addition to the ruling planet and the zodiac sign, I have the zodiac glyph, the element, whether it's masculine or feminine, and the archetype. So, Catherine, first and foremost, what is your age right now? I know you had a birthday in November. How old did you turn?
56.
56. Okay, so friends, we're going to go to look at the profection chart, and we are going to find the age of 56. Now, I like to count by 12s and use the first house. And in our profection chart, you have 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, and 72 is a first house profection year. So did you say 56?
Yes.
So we're going to count backwards from 60, and we are going to locate 56. And you can see here that 56 is a 9th house profection year. Do you see that, Catherine?
Yep.
56 is a 9th house. Now, everyone that is 56 is having a 9th house year. Okay? Now, we're going to focus on Catherine and her 9th house. You can see that for Catherine, because her ascendant is in Virgo, her 9th house is in Taurus. Therefore, here we go. The time lord for this year will be Venus, because here on the left, you can see that Taurus is ruled by Venus. So the time lord for this year that you're 56, it's a 9th house year, and Venus is running the show. Here is Taurus, and that's where we're going to start. So you're in a 9th house, profection year, ruled by Taurus and the planet Venus. That is the beginning. The next thing we're going to do is decide how powerful is Venus. And to do that, we're going to use our Sect astrology tool. And remember, Sect is where we divide the chart by the horizon. Was Catherine born at night or in the morning? Let's look for the glyph that is a circle with a dot in the middle. The glyph that's the circle and the dot in the middle is the sun. And the position of the sun on Catherine's chart is going to tell us, in addition to the time, if she's a night chart or a day chart. And you can see here, friends, that the glyph for the sun, a circle with a dot in the middle, is here below the horizon in the sign of Scorpio, indicating to us, of course, it's 2:31 a.m. is the birth time. This is clearly a night chart. And so by sect rules, here I'm circling it in the middle, night chart, the power team is Moon, Venus, and Mars. Now, friends, we all have 2 benefic planets, Venus and Jupiter. We all have 2 malefic planets that are challenging us, giving us lessons. But how strong is our benefic planet, and how strong is our malefic planet? Well, because Catherine is a night chart, her power planets for the night are Moon, Venus, and Mars. So this is a very auspicious time because we have just seen on our profection chart that Catherine is having a ninth house profection year, and her ninth house profection year is ruled by Taurus and the planet Venus. So right away, we see that Catherine's Venus is going to be even stronger, even more benefic, giving even more blessings because she's in a ninth house year. And from the time she turns 56 to the time she turns 57, there will be a reoccurring theme of the ninth house. Let's review together what the ninth house represents. For everyone, the ninth house represents broad perspectives. It represents teaching and learning and higher education. There may be more educational podcasts. There may be more biographies. There may be more classes or learning or teaching opportunities. We may be mentoring someone either at home or in the office or in our community. And of course, the ninth house is also about foreign travel and foreigners. This may be a theme that you've already noticed since you turned 56 in November. Do any of those themes resonate with you, Catherine?
Um, More the learning and teaching.
Wonderful. And you've been coming to some astrology classes and spending time with me. And of course, the ninth house is about spirituality. So for you to be learning more about astrology is very ninth house. It's very on point, if I may say so myself. So we have a ninth house theme ruled by Venus, your great benefic. So if our nighttime team, Moon, Venus, and Mars, are the ones that are champions for you in your corner, we must also see then what the second house that Venus rules in, because every single planet rules two houses in the zodiac. Sun rules one, Leo. Moon rules one, Cancer. But Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn rule two. So let's check in and see the house that our Time Lord Venus is ruling. Yes, Taurus in the ninth house, but Venus also rules Libra. And it looks like, Catherine, your Time Lord Venus is ruling your second house, Libra. And so you may have second house themes come up this year as well. The second house is about our resources. Yes, it's about food. Yes, it's about our home. Yes, it's about our assets, but it's also about the things we value, and it's about our self-esteem. So you may notice in a ninth house perfection year, which is in Taurus ruled by Venus, that you may also have things come up throughout the year that are having to do with Libra and the second house theme. Now, I do want to note that if you look here in the middle, you'll notice that in your ninth house ruled by Taurus, we currently have Uranus. And Uranus is the planet of massive unexpected changes. And Uranus likes to innovate, innovate, innovate. So there may be some surprises that come up in the ninth house. Hopefully, that will be a surprise trip to a beautiful foreign country.
That'd be
If
awesome.
if I may so manifest for you, Catherine, the other thing I wanted to touch on is to make sure that I explain that when we have long transits, like with Neptune or with Uranus or with Pluto, or even with Saturn, who spends 2.5 years in each sign, that we're in a perfection year where any of those longer transits are, the perfection year will be a catalyst, an activating force, activating energy. And so I'm going to just point out that even though Pluto is in Aquarius, Aquarius is in your sixth house. So this will not be activating directly. You may have some, like when the moon is in Aquarius, because your natal moon is in Taurus. When moon is in Aquarius, you may feel the need to innovate, maybe purge a closet or try a new food or try something unexpected out of the ordinary. But this is not going to be a massive catalyst for Pluto's long transit. And thank you for letting me look at your chart, Catherine. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you
Thank
enjoy.
you. Yes, I did. Thanks.
Thank you. Catherine, Amber, are you with me, Amber?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Amber. How are you today?
Okay, nervous.
Nothing to be nervous about. You have a whole team of planets working for you and on your side. Let me just scroll up. I do have your chart saved in my software here. Here we go. You were born on August 10th, right?
That's right.
I'm going to share a screen. And if you could just confirm that you can see my screen, I'd
Yep.
so appreciate it. Now, as I did before, I'm going to click on settings. I'm going to go to the second tab, click houses, and we're going to change from placidus to whole sign houses. Whole sign is what we do when we do predictive or transits, and we're going to check in our profection chart what profection year you're on. Amber, can you just say out loud how old you are since you turned your birthday in August?
I'm sorry, I can't. I was working hard not to know those numbers.
Can I?
Seriously, I cannot do that.
How old did you turn? How young a lady are you? On August 10th, you turned.
I feel like 30 something, but I know those numbers are different, but I just cannot say it out
You
loud.
don't have to say it. You just tell us what profection year you're in, and then we can just shave off a few years.
Well, like I yeah, no, I can't. I can't do that. You see the numbers, you can do that, but I just cannot say it.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry.
You're perfectly good. I just want to make sure that everything is accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, are you? No, 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 no. So, Amber,
Okay.
why don't I just input it into AstroSeek? That way you don't have to say anything. Because this
Okay.
is
Okay.
also an easy way to do it at home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to write down your birthday and not say it out loud. I don't want.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. We're not going to say any numbers out loud. So there's many, many, many annual perfection software. I like AstroSeek. And
Uh-huh.
so we just input your birthday that won't be said out loud. Perfectly, perfectly, perfectly fine. I respect your choice. I'm not going to say it out loud. I have the exact time, silently inputting your data. I respect your choice. And when we use our perfection software, it will just identify the year that you are transiting in. So 1 year ago, you were in your second house year. This year, you're in your third perfection house. And next year, you'll be in your fourth perfection house. So without saying the age, we're
Uh-huh.
just acknowledging that you're in a third house year. Now we're going to come
Okay.
back to your software, and without saying your age, we're just going to focus on your third house. Because you have
Mm-hmm.
an ascendant in Cancer, your third house is ruled by Virgo. I'm so pleased that your third house is ruled by Virgo because Mercury, your time lord Mercury, is on both teams. Mercury spends equal time on the day charts and the night charts. So it's very auspicious to have a Time Lord as Mercury. Remember, Mercury rules both Gemini and Virgo. And this is a very, very great example, Amber, because we have eclipses having in Virgo. And these eclipses are going to activate your profection house. Your profection house, you're in a third year profection house. Your chart ruler is Mercury, and you're going to have eclipses. We have an eclipse on March 13th. We have an eclipse on March 29th. And that eclipse on March 13th is going to be in the sign of Virgo. So that's really going to activate your third house profection team. Let's just take a moment to just talk about what the third house theme is. For everyone, everyone's third house has to do with communicating. That's information coming in, information processing, and information going out. Remember, Mercury is the traditional ruler of the third house. It's usually a Gemini house, but because your ascendant is in Cancer, your third house is in Virgo. So Mercury is the natural ruler of the third house. Mercury is home in the third house, and everybody likes to be home. Our planets all have a personality, and Mercury is very happy to be home. So because you're in a third house and Mercury is your chart ruler, we're now going to divide your chart by the horizon, and we're going to identify if you're a night chart or a day chart. Now, because you were born at 3:55, there's really no disparity. There's no challenge trying to figure out if it's day or night. If it's at dusk or dawn, sometimes it's hard to figure out. But for you, Amber, it's clear cut, looking at the glyph and looking at the birth time, that you too have a night chart. And remember, night charts have 3 power planets: the moon, Venus, and Mars. Remember, every zodiac sign and every planet has strengths and has challenges. Mars brings us courage and confidence and conflict. But when Mars is on your team, and it is because you have a night chart, Amber, Mars is really there to boost your confidence and to give you the courage that you need to make decisions and to move forward and to take action. Now, I do have to point out that even though Mars is on your team, he's been traveling backwards through the sign of Cancer in retrograde. So when he shifts on February 23rd and starts moving forward, we may actually notice some forward momentum in your third house. The third house, in addition to information coming in, information processing, and communication, is also about transportation. It's about the neighborhood that you grew up in. It's about siblings, and it's about short travel around. And Mars moving forward is going to boost you up. So what I do want to point out right now is that because you're a night chart, the Sun and Jupiter and Saturn are on a different team. That means because you have 2 benefics, Jupiter and Venus, Venus will be your stronger benefic. And we also have 2 malefics. We have Saturn and we have Mars. Because Mars is really helping you, not hindering you, Mars is going to deliver his good aspects, his confidence and his courage and his ability to motivate and take action, which I'm very, very confident you're good at taking action. But Saturn is really our sect malefic. Saturn is going to cause more challenges. And I'm very, very happy to report that Saturn is not transiting your third house. When we have our sect malefic transiting the house that we have our profection in, it can be a very challenging year. So I'm very, very happy to share with you, Amber, that your sect malefic Saturn is not transiting your third house. And in fact, that when you have your next birthday, you being so young, your next birthday will be a 4th house year in Libra. and that your sect malefic Saturn will not be transiting Libra next year either. So you're in super good shape.
Oh,
So I know, it's the greatest news ever, right, Amber? Good news.
yeah.
You're having a third house year. Your time lord is blissfully happy in the third house in Virgo. But remember, we said our time lord rules 2 houses. So Mercury, we do have to peek at where Gemini is. And I have even better news, because Gemini, that rules your 12th house, has Jupiter, the great benefic, in it. So even though Jupiter isn't as strong as Venus, it's still a benefic. So you have some really, really nice abundance coming your way for this whole year. And then when you celebrate your birthday, and you'll be having a 4th house perfection year then. The last thing I wanted to touch on was Aquarius, because Pluto is currently in Aquarius. Your natal Saturn is in Aquarius. So your sect malefic Saturn is going to be aspecting Pluto. Let's check the degree that your Saturn is in. So this year, Pluto is not going to make it to 7 degrees of Aquarius, but we're going to watch Pluto, and we are going to watch Pluto carefully, because when Pluto gets close to activating your sect malefic, we may have some Saturn-esque activity. Remember, Saturn is our king of karma. Saturn likes rules. Saturn likes delays. Saturn likes non-attachment. Saturn likes work, 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 work. Remember, Saturn is the natural ruler of our 10th house Capricorn. Saturn likes when we work hard. I think you and I have chatted several times about how hard you work. So I think you and I both are pretty comfortable with Saturn's hard work and discipline. Does that resonate, Amber?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think you're having a terrific perfection year. I really do. And I do thank you for letting me look at your chart. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bo agreed to volunteer, and I was hoping, Bo, are you on the call today? I think I see you on the screen.
Yep, I'm here.
May I read your chart, Bo?
Yes, please.
Thank you. I'm going to share screen so that everyone can see what I'm doing. Can you just confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, I could see.
And are you comfortable saying the age you are right now?
Yeah. Yes, 50.
Okay, so we're going to check on our standard perfection chart, and we are going to look up what perfection house 50 is. Okay, and remember, the first house, we count by 12s, 12, 24, 36, 48. So if our first house is 48, that means our second house is 49. That means our third house is 50. So Bo is having a third house perfection year. Okay, we just talked about the third house a little bit. Now we're going to go to settings. We're going to go to our second tab. We're going to click houses. And we're going to change from placidus to whole sign houses. And because we know that Bo is having a third house perfection year, we're going to look for the time lord. Now here in Bo's chart, our third house is ruled by Sagittarius. Sag is a fire sign ruled by the benefic Jupiter. Jupiter rules 2 zodiac signs. It is the natural ruler of Sagittarius and the 9th house. So now that we've identified that Bo is having a third house perfection and that Jupiter is our time lord, we are now going to identify by dividing our chart at the horizon if Bo is having a daytime sect chart or a nighttime sect chart. And you can see by looking at the glyph with a circle and a dot in the middle, which is the sun, and by checking her time of birth, that Bo was born in the daytime. Bo's sun is here on the cusp of Cancer and Leo. We can see that her sun is in fact at 0 degrees in Leo. That is the first decan of Leo. because Bo was born in the daytime, our sect team is Sun, Jupiter, and Saturn. So those will always, every year of your life, those will be your 3 sect leaders. Because you were a day chart, you will always have Sun, Jupiter, and Saturn on your team. That means your Jupiter, your benefic, remember you have 2 benefics, Venus and Jupiter. Your Jupiter is just that much stronger. And Saturn, the king of karma, one of 2 malefics, Saturn's also going to be in your corner. Okay, so no matter what's happening in Saturn, we don't have to be afraid because Saturn's going to make things better for us. Your Saturn is here in Cancer, I see that, and your Sun is in Leo. So getting back to your 3rd house profection year, Jupiter, because you are a daytime sect, Jupiter is one of the 3 sect team. Remember, daytime charts, it's Sun, Jupiter, and Saturn. And you're in a 3rd house profection year. That means Jupiter is your time lord and Jupiter is your great benefic. That it doesn't exactly double how lucky you're going to be from this birthday in July through your next birthday, but it certainly does boost the energy of Jupiter. Does that resonate?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Boost away.
Bring it on. And remember, 3rd house, a profection year, you're going to have a reoccurring theme from last birthday through the next birthday about the 3rd house themes. 3rd house themes are typically communication, information coming in, big ideas, good ideas, information being processed, information coming out. It's also short-term travel and siblings. And so that's going to be a reoccurring theme for you in this from this birthday until you get to the next birthday. At the next birthday, you'll be having a 4th house theme, and that 4th house theme is about family, typical 4th house themes. Now, your Sun is part of your team, and your Sun is currently in Leo. This is very interesting because your malefic, remember, because you're in a day chart for sect, Sun, Jupiter are on your auspicious team. But your sect malefic is Mars. Remember, the team for a night chart is Moon, Venus, and Mars. That means your Venus is not as strong, and your Mars is extra spicy. Mars can be a little bit challenging. Mars can be a little more aggressive because you have a day chart. So Saturn is a little bit nicer, and Mars can be a little bit spicier. Do you follow me? Does that resonate?
Yeah. Yep.
Now with Mars going through retrograde through Cancer, okay, aspecting your Mercury, aspecting your MC career, things may have been a little challenging at the office since July. Does that resonate?
Oh, yeah.
Because Mars in retrograde, remember, Mars is your sect malefic. Mars is going to present challenges, and Mars is not happy. Mars does not like going retrograde. Mars is action, courage, determination, motivation, forward motion, and he's being pushed backwards. And not only is he pushed backwards through Leo, past your sun sign, but he's pushed back into Cancer. He doesn't want to be pushed backwards in water. He's the fiery planet with the most volcanoes. He doesn't want to be stopped. He doesn't want to move backwards. He doesn't want to retreat. He doesn't want to sit in water. So he's already spicy. And in your chart, he's a sect malefic. So because your Mars, your sect malefic, has been aspecting your MC, which represents career and midheaven, things may have been a little bit challenging with your sect malefic going over your MC career. Now, on February 23rd, which is just, a couple of nights from now, Mars is going to station direct. Mars is going to go forward, and it's going to take some action, and there are going to be decisive decisions. There's going to be action, and it's going to happen rather rapidly. Mars is going to be so excited to station direct, and it's going to start retracing all the backward steps and moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. We're very, very excited for Mars to start going forward in Cancer, past your midheaven, and then stepping into Leo. When Mars transits over your natal sun in Leo, we may still have a little spice going on. Remember what the oracle at Delphi said, know thyself. So if things feel a little spicy, things feel a little challenging, I want you to remember, it's not you. It's your sect malefic Mars, and it's temporary. It's absolutely temporary. We pay attention to where our sect malefic is transiting. Does that resonate, Belle?
Yes. Yep.
It's
Thank
not you, and it's absolutely a temporary situation. Now, your sect benefic is Jupiter. Jupiter rules 2 houses. It rules the house, the Sagittarius, and if you see here on the left, friends, Jupiter also is the ruler for Pisces. And why is this incredibly auspicious? Well, first of all, Pisces is where your natal Jupiter is. Remember, if we look at our glyphs here on the bottom in the middle, you can see that the number 4 is the glyph for Jupiter. And of course, your time lord this year, Bo, is Jupiter. And so Jupiter is going to be boosting both your 3rd house of Sagittarius and the other house that it rules, right? And it rules Pisces, and it's home in Pisces. That's a double blessing. And it's here in the 6th house. Let's take a moment and talk about what your 6th house is and why it's so very important right now. First, the 6th house rules daily habits. It rules health. It rules work. It rules pets. It rules the things you do every single day, your healthy habits. Do you take your vitamins every day? Do you do your yoga or your meditation? Do you do your mantra every day? Do you take a walk every day? Do you work out every day? Jupiter is going to reward you when you do your healthy habits, your daily habits. And Jupiter wants to give you blessings. Jupiter wants to give everybody blessings. But Jupiter is just stationed direct and is moving through Gemini forward, and it's happy. And because it's your great benefic with the daytime chart, it's your great benefic, your blessings are going to be overflowing. We just have to get your great malefic through this aspect in your midheaven career, and then it really is a heck of a lot of abundance for you. It's also going to be transiting Gemini, which is in your 9th house. We could be doing a lot of travel until your next birthday. There could be some travel in your next couple of months. There could be education and learning opportunities. There could be more of a keen interest in spirituality. Maybe you'll be coming to more astrology sessions, more yoga sessions, more sound baths, and that may have more interest to you because your sect benefic is transiting your 9th house. So Jupiter is hitting your 3rd house, your 6th house, and your 9th house in a very abundant, fortuitous way. Very good news. And I'm happy to report that Pluto, that's transiting in Aquarius, is not in your perfection year. It can be a very challenging thing. But you don't have any natal planets in Aquarius, and you're not being hit in that perfection year. So not this year, not next year, but the following year, you're going to have a perfection year in the 5th house, and it's going to be hitting Pluto. But we will have to meet again before then so we can remember it's not you, it's Pluto in the 5th house of perfection. Does that resonate, Bo?
Yes. And I have trips planned every month for the next 5
Of course
months.
you do. Lots of learning, lots of spirituality, so much abundance. 2 words for you, Bo. Well deserved.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for volunteering. Thank you so much. I have Siobhan. Is Siobhan on the call? I think Kate, you said that you would volunteer tonight. Kate, are you with me?
Yes, I am.
May I read your chart, Kate?
Love it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go through the software and pull your chart up, and then I'm going to share a screen.
Great.
Thank you for your patience, everyone. Kate, while I'm scrolling through there, are you comfortable saying your age out loud, or shall I input your information into the software?
Yes, I'm comfortable. 56.
Okay, so we're going to look at our perfection chart. This perfection chart is the same for everyone, and you'll notice that 56 is a 9th house perfection year. So let's remember that, friends. Kate is in her 9th house perfection year. I'm just scrolling. I do have a lot of saved charts in my astrology software, so I do tremendously appreciate your patience while I scroll up and find Kate's chart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really do have a lot of charts in here. I have it right here. I'm going to click on share screen. And Kate, if you can just confirm that you can see your chart on my screen, please.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so we are going to hit settings. We're going to go to the second option, and we're going to change our natal chart from placidus to whole signs. We always change to whole signs when we're doing transits or predictive astrology. And also, whole signs is what the Hellenistic astrologers used. There was no placidus then. There was no Neptune, there was no Uranus, there were no asteroids, and there was no placidus or Pluto. So we can see here that Kate is a Libra ascendant, and that in her 9th house perfection year, is ruled by the zodiac sign of Gemini. Gemini has a traditional ruler of Mercury. So for Kate's perfection year of 9th house in Gemini, her time lord is Mercury. Mercury is very happy in Gemini. Mercury rules Gemini. It also rules Virgo. So we're going to take a look at Kate's 9th house in Gemini and also her 12th house in Virgo. And her 12th house in Virgo, ruled by Mercury, is where Jupiter is and her sun is. So let's just take a moment, friends, now that we've identified Kate's perfection year and then we know that she is going to have themes for this birthday until her next birthday that have to do with the 9th house and also her 12th house, because her time lord is ruling this birth year. 9th house, 12th house themes. We're going to take a moment to identify our sect ruler. Does Kate have a daytime chart or a nighttime chart? And we can see the glyph for the sun is here in Virgo. We're going to confirm that she was born during the day, 8:41 a.m. It's clearly a daytime chart. And as a reminder, the sect divides from day and night. The team for our day is Sun, Jupiter, and Saturn. That means even though Saturn is a malefic, Saturn is going to go easy on you. Isn't that nice, Kate? That Saturn's always going to go easy on you? Yes. But what that does mean is that Jupiter is your great benefic. Jupiter is going to be especially generous with you, delivering blessings, extra blessings for you, Kate. That does mean that Venus is your chart ruler, and Venus is a benefic, but that your sect malefic is Mars. So whenever Mars is giving you a hard time, we have to remember that the reason Mars is giving you a hard time is because it's your sect malefic. It's the one super challenging planet in your chart. So we're always going to be aware where Mars is transiting. And right now, Kate, your sect malefic of Mars, because you have a day chart, your sect malefic is Mars. Your sect malefic is in retrograde in the sign of Cancer, going over your MC midheaven career in your 10th house of career. So you may be feeling a little squeezed, a little conflicted. Remember, Mars is our red planet. Mars gives us courage and confidence. It also brings challenges and conflict. Remember, Mars can be impulsive and impatient and aggressive. It can be short-tempered. You may feel annoyed or conflicted with themes having to do with the 10th house. The 10th house is traditionally our house of career. So you may be wanting to exact a change in your 10th house of career because Mars is in retrograde going backwards over your 10th house. And when Mars goes backwards, remember, Mars is action, courage, motivation. It's what motivates us. It's what moves forward. But Mars is sort of like the car you drive. And right now, the car you drive is parked on the side of the road. Mars does not like to be in retrograde. It does not like to go backwards in the sign of Cancer. It does not like to be stalled. So this is actually the right time to pause, review, to really perhaps restructure, and to think, because Mars is the planet of motivation, what motivates me now? Because what motivates you now might not have motivated you 6 months ago, 18 months ago, 6 years ago, 18 years ago. Your motivation today may be dramatically, dramatically different than it was just a few months, just a few years ago. That's what Mars in retrograde in your 10th house of career will do. You may want to explore different options. Of course, right now there's so much opportunity. So the 10th house career could also be a side gig. It could be an alternate. Remember, MC isn't always work. MC is also the things that you're famous for, the things that you're known for. It could be something in your community, something in your neighborhood, something in a club. And all of those things are correct when it comes to MC midheaven career. You know, it's not just our job. Perhaps, you know, I could have a strong midheaven and not have a full-time job and simply be a philanthropist or someone who volunteers their time, someone that sits on a board or is my home association chairperson. All of those things could be midheaven. But this is a really important time because your sect malefic is transiting your 10th house of career and your midheaven. It's a time to review what motivates you most. And whenever you are feeling that Mars energy of conflict or stress or squeezing, is to pause and say, it's not me, it's my sect malefic Mars. It is not me. And please know, as we were just saying to our other friends, Mars is stationing direct on February 23rd and will be slowly moving out of your 10th house of Cancer and career and moving into Leo. And what's going to happen when he does that? Mars is going to be in a return. You just see here on the bottom right of my screen, you'll notice that your natal Mars is at 24 degrees of Leo. So just in a few weeks, Kate, you're going to be experiencing your Mars return. So from now until the beginning of the summer, it's really going to be a chance to review. But remember, your Mars is in your Leo house, 11th house. And 11th house is yes, community, yes, friendships. But remember, Kate, 11th house is your wishes and dreams. Because your wishes and dreams may be different than it was 6 months ago. Mars in retrograde says, pause, Kate, and reevaluate. Remember, Mars is not going to be in retrograde in Cancer and Leo again for a decade. So where do you see yourself in 10 years? Restructure, review, and maybe make the changes so that when Mars starts moving forward, you can exact those changes so that they align. Does that resonate?
Wow. Yes. So much. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank-
Completely my pleasure. And we are in a 9th house profection year. 9th house is ruled by Gemini. Therefore, your time lord is Mercury. So let's identify where Mercury is. Mercury is home in your first house here of Libra. So your time lord is in your first house. So from this birthday that just passed until your next birthday, you may be exacting changes because your perfection lord is home in your first house. These changes may be noticeable to many people. This is not changes that will just be inside and internal. Because your Time Lord is, your natal Time Lord is in your first house, these changes may be noticeable to other people. Remember, the first house is our physical body, and it's also our personality, the personality we show the world. So the changes you exact with this Mars transit, the things that happen in this 9th house perfection year, because your Time Lord is natally in your first house, may be noticeable. Does that resonate?
Yes.
The other thing I want to point out is that your Time Lord Mercury rules Gemini. It also rules Virgo, and Virgo is the ruler of your 12th house. That's your subconscious brain. And who's here? Your Sun is here, and Jupiter is here. And remember, because you have a day chart, Sun and Jupiter are on your team. So this Virgo house, your 12th house of your subconscious, we can be doing a lot of reprogramming in a very auspicious, abundant way. We may have decided once and for all to send that inner critic away and never let him return. That's some reprogramming. Remember, 12th house is a subconscious. So when we have our Sun and Jupiter, our sect team, going through our Virgo house of the subconscious, their 12th house, we may have some very auspicious, very beneficial reprogramming of our, what formerly may have been limiting beliefs. We may have freedom. We may have some real breakthroughs. You may have some vivid dreams, because the 12th house is also about sleep. You may have some very, very deep, deep meditations where you have some clarity. Does that resonate, Kate?
Sure does. Wow.
Yes. And so, of course, because you're in a 9th house perfection year, at your next birthday, you will be in your 10th house perfection. And I do have some very abundant, incredible, amazing news to share. Jupiter, who's on your team because you're a sect daytime chart, Sun, Jupiter, Saturn are on your team. Jupiter is currently transiting Gemini, giving you even more abundance in your 9th house of learning, education, foreigners, foreign travel, spirituality. But he's going to be following you into Cancer. And good news, Kate, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So for the next 18 months to 24 months, you're going to have a tremendous amount of abundance. You're going to have some breakthroughs in your 12th house. It's a very auspicious time for you. I'm very happy. And remember, when things get a little spicy, a little scratchy and itchy in your house of career, please remember, it's happening for a reason. Your sect malefic Mars is pushing you to make these changes, pushing you to evaluate what your wishes and dreams are, pushing you to evaluate what your motivation is so that you can take the action that most aligns with the Kate today, not the Kate from 6 months ago. This is a new Kate after this Mars retrograde. This is a new Kate. Things have changed since this retrograde began. It's all here in your chart.
So cool.
Resonate?
Yes, it does. You're awesome. This is great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kate. And I really do appreciate you volunteering. Who else do I have? I have Dee, but I don't see Dee on the call yet. She may be joining later. I have Mimi. She may be joining later. Let me just check our chat. You can do mine. Sarah, thank you. Do I have Sarah's chart in here?
You did it once before, but I also sent you the link in the chat just in case.
Thank you, Sarah. Let's check the software. I'll just input it. Thank you so much. Can you just give me the data? You can private message me if you're more comfortable doing that. Yeah, I see you private message me, which is terrific. If you could just give me the data, because when I click on the link, it pulls up a different internet browser, and I would rather stay in this internet browser because I have protective software, and I really like to protect. Can you share the city that you were born in, and can I confirm that it's June and not February?
Yeah, June 2nd.
Thank you. I just want to make sure because my international clients. Thank you for your patience, everyone. I'm just inputting the chart data currently right now. I'm going to share a screen. Okay, can you see my screen? Sarah, are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, sorry, I was muted.
It's all good. Okay, so we have here Sarah. And Sarah, are you comfortable saying how old you are today?
37.
So we're going to look at our perfection chart here, and we're going to look up the year 37. Remember, our first house, we count by 12s. So our first house are the age of 12, the age of 24, and the age of 36. So we only have to jump to our second house to see that Sarah is in her second house perfection year. Does everyone see that? Second house is first birthday, 13th birthday, 25th birthday, 37th birthday. So Sarah is in a second house perfection year. And now that we've switched to whole signs, we can see that Sarah is in an Aquarius perfection year. Second house perfection year is with Aquarius. So Aquarius is ruled by two different planets. It's ruled by Uranus, but when we did Hellenistic astrology 2,000 years ago in ancient Greece, it was only ruled by Saturn. So we are going to stay with Saturn for this webinar. Now, just because this house is empty, Sarah, doesn't mean we have nothing going on. Quite the contrary. Every house is activated by the transits of the planets. And you can see here in the middle that we do have a transiting planet in the sign of Aquarius. You can see here that Pluto is currently transiting Aquarius. Pluto is at 2 degrees of Aquarius. So Pluto is our planet of transformation. There are many, many big changes. What's really terrific is that Aquarius is a zodiac sign that very much likes to innovate. Aquarius likes change. Aquarius is a zodiac sign that likes to innovate, likes to make things better. Aquarius feels responsibility tremendously. And where are these changes happening? Well, it's a second house perfection year. Let's talk about what the second house represents. The second house represents assets, money, all resources, and the things we value. It can be about food, it can be about the home that you live in, it can be about your furniture or your crystal collection. It could even be like a sneaker collection. It could be artwork. It could be paintings from your childhood, your favorite books. It also rules your self-esteem. And a second house perfection year is going to be all about that. So from now, this past June, until the next June, you're going to be in a second house perfection theme. Does that resonate, Sarah?
Yes, very much.
And because you were born at 1028, and we can see the glyph of the sun. The glyph of the sun is a circle with a dot in the middle. Your sun is in Gemini in the 6th house. This is a nighttime chart. So because it's a nighttime chart, your sect ruler is Moon, Venus, and Mars. That means your great benefic with a nighttime sect chart is Venus. Let's identify where Venus is. Let's also identify where your time lord is. A 2nd house Aquarius, the time lord would be Saturn, and Saturn's glyph looks like a number 5. And I see your time lord here in Sagittarius. Sagittarius in the 11th house. Let's talk about your time lord first, shall we? So your time lord, because Aquarius is your the zodiac ruling your 2nd house perfection year, your time lord is Saturn. Saturn is your natal Saturn is in Sagittarius in the 11th house. Is that the 11th house or 12th house? In your 12th house. And so your time lord is going to be activating your 12th house. As we were just talking to our friend, the 12th house represents our subconscious brain. It's the sleep that we have. Yes, it's sleep. It's also our subconscious brain. It's also our dreams. Remember, our 12th house is usually, traditionally, ruled by Pisces and the planet Neptune. And Pisces is spirit, like spirituality, faith, religion, things that we believe in without seeing them, right? Faith. And it's also spirit and it's also spirit. So the 12th house could be escapism. 12th house could be people who do, 25 ayahuasca ceremonies, or people who scroll on the internet all day, every day. So really, when Saturn is in the 12th house like that, Saturn is going to make you disciplined. Saturn is going to push you away from the escapism and push you towards spirituality, push you towards more things that broaden your perspective. Remember, Saturn is about learning, it's about education, it's about taking classes, it's about teaching, it's about broad perspectives, it's about spirituality, it's about foreigners and foreign travel. Does that resonate?
Mm-hmm.
So because you're in a 2nd house perfection year, your time lord is Saturn, and Saturn is your natal 12th house. Your natal 12th house is going to be activated just as much as your 2nd house perfection year with Aquarius. But Saturn isn't just ruling Sagittarius. Remember, Saturn rules 2 houses. Saturn rules here Capricorn and Aquarius. Remember, Mercury rules 2, Venus rules 2, Mars rules 2, Jupiter rules 2, Saturn rules 2. So it's not just Aquarius, it's not just where your natal Saturn is, it's also the house that you have Capricorn in. And Capricorn is your ascendant. And so the changes that happen in this perfection year are going to impact your 2nd house perfection year, your 1st house. The changes will be noticeable to you and to other people. And then, of course, to your 12th house. So you have a 12th house, 1st house, and 2nd house all being activated because of your sect ruler and your 2nd house perfection year. Does that resonate? Because you are a nighttime chart, your team is Moon, Venus, and Mars. So Mars is going to be more constructive and less debilitating. Does that resonate? And really, your sect malefic, because you have a night's chart, is going to be a little spicier. And your sect malefic is Saturn, the ruler. And so Saturn may be very, very, very challenging so that you stay disciplined. Remember, Saturn likes rules. It likes non-attachment. It doesn't want us to look for rewards. It wants us to work hard and work hard and work hard and not look for the downtime, not look for the breaks, not look for the rewards. Saturn can really be a taskmaster. But the rewards that Saturn gives us are better than any rewards anybody can give. Yes, Saturn demands hard work and neutral discipline and non-attachment, but truly Saturn's rewards can be absolutely life-changing. And with Saturn transiting your 12th, your first, and your second houses, we're going to have a very transformative time. Does that resonate?
Yeah.
And Pluto has just entered Aquarius, and Pluto will be there for the next almost 20 years. And so Pluto is really going to be reinventing the things that you value, reinventing the resources that you have, reinventing your priorities and the things that you treasure. We're really going to go through a lot of changes. So what the Oracle at Delphi taught us is to know thyself, know thyself, know thyself. The more that we understand that it's not me, it's the planets, it's not Sarah, it's the planets, and that you're going through this transformation to make you the best version you can possibly be, and to keep elevating our vibrational frequency, and to keep raising our vibrational frequency again and again and again. Again, Sagittarius is spirituality. And really aligning with that energy, you're going to reap rewards from all that hard work and discipline Saturn is insisting that you embrace. Does that resonate?
Mm-hmm.
Hard work. Saturn likes us to work, 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 doesn't it?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we did Catherine, we did Amber, we did Bo, we did Sarah, we did Kate. Is there anyone else on that would like to volunteer? You know, Siobhan said she was going to be here. I see Dee. Dee, my friend, would you like to volunteer? Completely up to you. Let me pull up Siobhan since she asked to volunteer, and she actually lives in Scotland. So Siobhan will be looking at the recording. I'm sure she's sleeping right now. It is the middle of the night. Let's pull up Siobhan. Siobhan, I hope you're getting a restful, restful night. Let's share screen and pull up Siobhan. House, placidus to whole sign. And Siobhan is a daytime chart. We can see that Siobhan is a daytime chart because she has her sun glyph above the horizon. And so because Siobhan has a daytime chart, she has the sun, Jupiter, and Saturn are her planets that are on her sect team. And so her great benefic will be Jupiter, and then her great malefic will be Mars. So for Siobhan, her great benefic is Jupiter and her great malefic is Mars. Now, let's go into our software and input her data. Let me just write it down. And you guys can look up anyone's chart. I really like AstroSeek. Thank you for your patience. I want to make sure this is accurate. I love accuracy. Thank you for volunteering, Siobhan. I know you're here with us in spirit. And to just change this to the afternoon. Then we're going to identify a town in Scotland. And we can see that Siobhan is having a third house perfection year. So we're going to focus on Siobhan's third house. Siobhan's third house is in Libra. We can verify here in the upper left-hand corner of our assets that Libra is ruled by the planet Venus. Venus rules two zodiac signs, Taurus and Libra. So the first thing we're going to do is identify our Time Lord as Venus and decide where Venus is in our chart. And it looks like Venus is in our natal chart in Aquarius. And that is so interesting because that is where Pluto is transiting right now. So our Time Lord Venus is being activated by our Pluto transit in Aquarius. So Pluto in Aquarius with our Time Lord means this birthday until the next birthday may be a year filled with dramatic shifts and changes. I say dramatic because Aquarius is unexpected, sometimes shocking changes. And Aquarius rules your 7th house of partnerships. This is not just romantic partnerships. This can also be partnerships in business. This can be partnerships like friendships. It can also be romantic. So with your Time Lord Venus, because we're having a 3rd house perfection year, and Libra is ruled by Venus, and our natal Venus is being activated in our 7th house of Aquarius with our Pluto transit, there may be unexpected, shocking shifts and changes in partnerships. Perhaps you'll be having a new partnership come into your life in the next 12 months. That could be something that could happen. When I was going through a 7th house perfection year, I did get a new partner, a young lady who I work with still to this day. And I had worked with someone else previously. I stopped working with that person and started working with someone new when I was having a 7th house perfection year. It was very unexpected that I changed partners from one to the other. But then when I checked my perfection year and I saw, oh, I'm having massive changes in my 7th house, it all made sense. So we are having our 3rd house activated. And because our Time Lord Venus is in her natal Aquarius, that's also being activated. But remember, friends, that each one of our Time Lords rules 2 zodiac signs. So in addition to Libra, our Venus is also ruling the house that we have Taurus in. And you'll see here, friends, that in Siobhan in Scotland's chart, her Taurus rules her 10th house, and that's where her MC midheaven is. MC midheaven in the 10th house in Taurus ruled by Venus is all about career. So our Time Lord in the 3rd house is also activating our career. There could be many, many changes for Siobhan in her workplace or anything that has to do with her reputation. Maybe it is a community group or club. The other thing that we have to point out is because this is a daytime chart, her sect benefic is Jupiter and her sect malefic is Mars. And Mars as your sect malefic, Siobhan, is right now in retrograde in Cancer. Now your Cancer is in the 12th house, and that is our subconscious programming, and Mars is thinking about our subconscious beliefs. Maybe our limiting beliefs are being reevaluated by Mars. Our sect malefic is going to push you to reevaluate your belief system. And then Mars is going to station direct and move forward. And Leo is your ascendant. So your sect malefic may encourage you to make some drastic, dramatic changes. And these changes will be noticeable to many people. They're not just internal. Because your sect malefic is going to be transiting your 12th house of your subconscious beliefs. And your first house is our physical body. We can get a dramatic haircut. We could also make some massive changes. Remember, Mars is physical exercise. Mars is the god of war, but it's about working out and being strong. And Mars could make you become obsessed with going to the gym every day. Some people who are having our sect malefic transit our first house all of a sudden say one day, I think I want to train for a marathon or a half marathon, or I'm going to train for my first 5K. Those are very, very, very common themes when Mars, our sect malefic, or even our sect benefic, is transiting our first house. There may be a new obsession with working out and exercise and being strong, physical strength, because that is a Mars theme. And whatever changes that you exact as Mars transits your 12th house of beliefs and subconscious and your first house of physical being and personality are going to be noticeable to everyone else. Again, I think it's going to be terrific. I think it's going to be very exciting, and I can't wait to hear more about that. And thank you for volunteering, Siobhan from Scotland. Yes, Kat, that's terrific. I would love to do that. Hi, Brian. Yes, welcome, Brian. Thank you. If you'd like to volunteer, I'd love to read your chart. Thank you, Catherine. Yes, anyone who's had their chart read, if they have gotten enough information and they're going to be integrating and processing the information, you're more than welcome to jump off. It's completely up to you. I respect your choice. No need to stay on the entire time. If you've gotten the information that you need and you like, you're happy to jump off. I respect your choice completely. So I have gotten a message with Kat's information. I'm going to input her chart. Thank you so much for volunteering, Kat. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And let me just type in 23rd. Love my volunteers. I could lecture this entire time, but I think interactive is so much more exciting for everyone. I'm going to share a screen. Kat, can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes.
Because we're doing predictive astrology, we're going to use whole sign. This is what the Hellenistic astrologers used as whole sign houses. And we can see right away that our ascendant is in Gemini. And we're going to first identify whether we have a sect daytime chart or a sect nighttime chart. And you can see that this is right on the border. So according to this chart, this is an excellent example. It is a very, very, very close. Ascendant is in Gemini at 14 degrees. That means our descendant is in Sagittarius at 14 degrees. Our sun is in Sagittarius and 1 degree. That means technically we have a night chart because it was in November when you were born at 5 o'clock, it was dark out. It was not light out. Remember, sometimes it's sunny at 5 o'clock and sometimes it's dark out at 5 o'clock. And so when you were born in November at 5:03, when you were born, it was dark outside. And so this is considered a night chart. With sect Hellenistic technique, in a night chart, your power team is Moon, Venus, and Mars. So Mars is actually on your team, pushing you, helping you, assisting you. Remember, every planet has positive qualities and challenging qualities. Mars is confidence. Mars is courage. It can also be impulsive and combative. But with Mars on your team, because you have a night chart, the best aspects of Mars, confidence and courage, are going to be pushing you and bolstering you. Remember, we talked about Mars transiting through Cancer and Leo. Cancer rules your second house of assets and resources, and Cancer rules your third house of communication, data coming in, data processing, and being communicated, short travel, and siblings. Now, do you want to say your age out loud so that we can figure out what profection year you're in, Kat?
Yeah, it's 53. And I had a quick question for you too. Does your Mars also being the sect, does it affect your natal Mars that year too, or is it just sort of the transiting?
So we're going to look at natal Mars and transiting Mars. We're going to look at both the natal and the transiting. Both
Gotcha.
are important. So did you say 53? Can I confirm that?
Yeah, 53.
So 53 on everyone has the same profection chart. 53 is a 6th house profection year. So let's identify who Kat's Time Lord is. So in Kat's chart, her 6th house is ruled by Scorpio. Now, Scorpio is one of our zodiac signs that has 2 rulers. It has a new ruler, a modern ruler, but for Hellenistic astrology, for sect and for profection years, we use the traditional ruler of Scorpio. So we're going to go up to the upper left-hand corner, and we're going to verify that Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio. Okay? So your Time Lord for a 6th year profection year in Scorpio, your Time Lord is Mars. That means Mars is the ruler from your last birthday to your next birthday. So we're going to pay special attention to where Mars is in your natal chart and where transiting Mars is now. Again, Mars is in retrograde. He moved backwards. He moved forward through Cancer and Leo. Then he moved backwards in retrograde from Leo to Cancer. And now, on February 23rd, he'll be stationing direct and moving forward from Cancer into Leo. We're going to pay special attention because you have a sect night chart, and Moon, Venus, and Mars is on your team, yes, but because your 6th house profection year is ruled by Scorpio, your Time Lord, the person ruling this year, is Mars. Incredible and amazing and auspicious because Mars is going to bolster, give you confidence and courage with your 2nd house of resources, assets. That could be a home, that can be a retirement account, that can be a collection of belongings, that can be your self-esteem, lovely. It can be the things that you value, the things that you cherish. And because Mars is moving backwards through that house, you may be reevaluating, you may be reviewing. The things that you valued and you thought were important may be changing. You may be actually selling things or donating things or purging things because the things you used to value and find important are not as important as they used to be. You might even be selling your home or renovating your home because that is an asset, and your profection, your Time Lord, is transiting in your 2nd house of assets and resources. Then your Time Lord of Mars will be moving into Leo later in the spring. Remember, the 3rd house is the way you think. It's also the ideas that you get in and the way that you communicate. 3rd house is also local travel, transportation, and 3rd house is also siblings. That could be, getting repairs on your car. It could also be changing your car. Yeah, it's anything that's a 3rd house theme. Now remember, Scorpio is your 6th house profection year. Let's just review what 6th house themes are. And then we're going to get into your sect malefic. Your sect malefic, of course, is Saturn. So we want to pay attention to where Saturn is in your chart. But first, your 6th house profection year. What is your 6th house profection year all about? 6th house is about health, it's about work, and it's about daily habits. It's even about pets. What are the daily habits going to be like? Well, because it's about health, and really in a Thys aspect, it's about service. It's about karma yoga and helping other people. And it's about your healthy daily habits. The foods that you choose, it's about daily meditation or daily yoga or daily spirituality. It could be sound baths. It could be anything that has to do with healthy habits. Does that resonate with you, Kat?
Yes.
Do you think that is, can you resonate where that is the focus from your last birthday for the next 12 months?
Yes,
It's all about the sixth house.
for sure.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. And because your time lord is Mars, and Mars rules 2 houses, we must, yes, pay attention to the sixth house, but we must also pay attention to the other house that your time lord rules. And the other house that your time lord rules, remember, if you want to check that, ladies and gentlemen, friends at home, Mars rules here. You can see in assets on the left-hand side and the assets that I emailed to you. Mars rules Aries. So let's just take a moment to look at the other house that your time lord Mars rules, and that's Aries in the 11th house. Kat, do you see this? It looks like a key with a K on it.
Yep. Chiron.
That is the glyph for Chiron. So, why is this important? Chiron is currently transiting Aries. Chiron is the wounds we must feel to heal. Now, because Mars is our time lord, because Mars rules Aries, Mars is going to provide you with the courage it takes, because you're in a Chiron return, Kat. When you were born, Chiron was in Aries, but if you look up in a current transit chart, you'll see that Chiron is currently transiting Aries today. So you're actually going through your Chiron return. It's when we revisit our wounds. And this is a Chiron in Aries in the 11th house. What is a wound in the 11th house all about? Well, let's talk about what the 11th house themes are. First of all, it's friendships. It's about community. It's about our wishes, and it's about our dreams. We may be pondering, if we're in a Chiron return in the 11th house, the things that we wished we could have done when we were a little girl. Maybe when you were a little girl, you wanted to be a nurse. You may be thinking about that. I wanted to be a nurse when I grew up. We're pondering the wishes and dreams we had from childhood. Does that resonate?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And we could also be reevaluating the wishes and dreams that we had. I wanted this many years ago, but I'm going to revisit it because we have a Chiron, a wound in our 11th house. What do I wish for now? And really evaluating that. It doesn't have to necessarily be about our community or our friendship groups. It could also be about the wishes and the dreams that we had. Again, our natal return is not the easiest, our Chiron return is not the easiest transit because we have to visit and revisit the wounds we must feel. But remember, we have to feel them to heal them. And when we have a wound in Chiron, you're being asked to revisit it so that you can heal your wounds, so that you can heal others that have the same wound. And what's good about having Mars in Aries with your Chiron is that because you have a nighttime chart, Mars is giving you the courage, it's giving you the confidence to face those wounds, to heal those wounds, and then help others do the same thing. Does that resonate?
Yes, that's lovely. Bring it on, Mars. Let's do this.
Right? Yeah, Mars is our friend. Not easy, but
Yeah.
remember, you did sign up for all of this, and it's good to know and understand why this is happening. Remember, the Oracle at Delphi said, "Know thyself." This is what you signed up for. This is the transit that's happening, and so to embrace that wound, to heal it, and then heal it in others. We do have to touch on Saturn because you have a night chart. Your sect malefic is Saturn. We want to pay attention to where Saturn is. Your natal Saturn, it looks like the number 5, and that's in Gemini and the ascendant. So Saturn is going to be hitting you a little harder in your ascendant. It might be giving you a some hard lessons in life. And also Saturn is currently transiting Pisces. Saturn's been transiting Pisces for the last more than 2 years. Saturn is going to be moving into Aries later in 2025. But look here, your natal Mars is in Pisces. So it's really balancing Saturn. It's pushing Saturn back and saying, lay off her. Give her a break. Saturn might try and give you a hard time here in the 10th house of career and challenge you, maybe try and make you make some changes or make you really, really, Saturn is about delays and Saturn is about boundaries, give you some hard lessons so that you must have healthy boundaries. Have there been any challenges in the last 2 years that have forced you to make boundaries where you didn't have them before?
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
So that is your sect malefic forcing you to make and utilize healthy boundaries. Now I have, out of all the gongs in the world, I have a Saturn gong. I love Saturn. He can be really, really challenging, but Saturn pushing you to have these healthy boundaries are going to serve you well for the rest of your life. And so even though it is a hard transit, and even though our sect malefic Saturn is pushing us, oh, Saturn, you're so hard on me. Oh gosh, Saturn giving me another delay, another challenge, another lesson. These lessons about healthy boundaries are going to serve you now and forevermore. These hard lessons you're going to integrate, and they're really going to make you a better person. They're going to elevate you higher and higher and higher and higher. Does that resonate, Kat?
Yeah, yeah. And thank you for how you put it. It's very
We
a
can
lot of
we can look at it from any perspective, but knowledge is power. And when we're equipped with the knowledge and we know why the challenges are here and how they can benefit us, then we step into our power. Then we're embodied. Then we can use these challenges to our benefit.
yes, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to check our chat in case we have another volunteer. Hi, Brian. Thank you so much. Okay, our last volunteer of the night. Again, I did say our webinar was from 7 to 8:30. I am going a little long. It is my sincere wish and hope that I can read all of the charts, but I value your time, everyone. And so if you need to jump off, I respect your choice. If you want to stay on, then I would love to have you here. I'm going to input your chart now, Brian. I'm going to pull it up. Thank you so much for all of your data. I appreciate you and all of my volunteers. I really enjoy sharing astrology knowledge with everyone, and I love my sessions to be interactive. I'm going to hit share screen. Welcome, Brian. Welcome to our webinar. Brian, can you
Hi, thank you for the reading.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. And Brian shared that he is 28. Let's look here at our profection chart. All 28-year-olds, every single 28-year-old is in a fifth house profection year. You see how 28 is here? When we were 4, we were in a fifth house profection year. When we were 16, we were in a fifth house profection year. When we're 28, when we're 40, 52, fifth house profection year. And so we're going to check on Brian's chart. Who does he have in the fifth house? Before we begin, we're going to change the settings on our chart by clicking the second option, houses, and moving from a placidus view to a whole sign view. Remember, in Hellenistic astrology, we used whole sign houses. For our fifth house perfection year, Brian, your chart ruler is Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. Now that we know who our time lord is, that in your fifth house perfection year, your time lord is Saturn because Saturn rules Capricorn, we're going to take a moment to look at our sect astrology. Remember, sect is where we divide our natal chart in half, day charts versus night charts. And we can see the glyph for our sun is below. We can see that Brian was born at night at 10 p.m. And so when we have a sect chart that is a night chart, our power planets are Moon, Venus, and Mars. That means your great benefic is Venus. Venus is going to give you extra blessings, okay? So we're going to review our sect benefic Venus. Let's find Venus on your chart. It's here in Capricorn. You're having a 5th house profection year that's activating your sect benefic. What is our 5th house, Brian? 5th house is traditionally ruled by Leo. It is a house of fun. It is a house of confidence. It is a charismatic, having a good time house. It is actually the house of children, but it's the house of anything you give birth to. That could be a new business, a new hobby, a new idea. Does that resonate with you, Brian?
Oh, yes,
New
very
ideas,
much.
percolating. New ideas, new businesses, new side hustles, and perhaps, may I say, new romance. Because with Venus in our 5th house of romance and fun, we may be having a lot of fun, a lot of romance. Venus likes romance. Remember, Venus is our planet of the 5 senses. Venus is about it's about the scales and justice and being fair and having harmony and bliss and peace. Venus rules our 5 senses. What do I mean? With Venus in your 5th house profection year, we're going to be focused on making our 5 senses happy, listening to wonderful music, maybe going out dancing and dancing to wonderful music. It's about smelling good food. Maybe it's essential oils or flowers or nice cologne or pretty perfume. It's about seeing beautiful things, artwork or flowers or the things that make you happy. You could buy new decorations for your home. It's about spending money. It really is. Venus loves to spend money. Venus rules the material world. So if you're going to be going out and having fun and Venus in the 5th house, Venus may have you going out and buying new outfits, new clothes, so that you look dapper and handsome. Does that resonate, Brian?
Yes, and I like the fact that you mentioned the new things. I mean, the senses, because
Yeah,
for some reason, all I've been thinking is like buying myself flowers.
yeah, 100%,
Uh,
100%. New colognes, new scented candles. Very, very, very Venus transit. I'm going to point out something very important, Brian, very important. We haven't really talked about this, but Venus is transiting currently the sign of Aries. And why this is very important is because if you look here, Brian, you see that number 5 and that moon? So because you're a night chart, your moon is one of your power planets, but your moon is being aspected by that number 5, and the number 5 represents Saturn. And Saturn, because you're a night chart, Saturn is your great malefic. Now, what's going to happen right now is that your great malefic is being aspected by Venus, because Venus is currently transiting. Just move this over. You can see here in the middle, Venus is currently at 9 degrees of Aries. Your great malefic Saturn is at 2 degrees of Aries. But what's Venus going to do? Venus is moving forward in Aries, and then Venus is going to go backwards in Aries, because Venus is going to station retrograde on March 1st. In just about a week or so, Venus is going to start moving backwards, backwards, backwards. It's going to start reviewing, and Venus is going to go over Saturn, which is your sect malefic. What is Saturn going to make you do? Saturn likes to constrict. Saturn likes to make delays. Saturn likes to make rules. So Venus wants to review, review, review when Venus is in retrograde, okay? It's going to retrograde through Aries, and then back into Pisces. Saturn may make you feel a little guilty for buying a new outfit, or buying a beautiful scented candle, or buying some plants or flowers for your home. You know, I love to go to Trader Joe's and buy plants. My chart ruler is Venus because I am a Libra rising. And so when I have a hard Saturn transit over my Venus, sometimes I feel guilty because I have 100 plants already. I don't need that extra plant. Saturn may be giving you a little bit of a hard time. But remember, if you're starting to feel limited, it's that Saturn. Remember, Jupiter is the planet of expansion. Saturn is the planet of constriction. And because you have a night chart, Brian, Saturn is your sect malefic. So when you're feeling constricted, you have to remind yourself, it's not me, it's Saturn, my sect malefic. Saturn is constricting me. Saturn is constricting me because knowledge is power. Saturn doesn't want you to spend tons of money on your Venus, but Venus is saying, yes, do it, do it, do it. And so that inner conflict are the planets. It's not you, it's the planets. Does that resonate?
Yes.
And because Saturn is our time lord and Saturn is in Aries in your natal chart, we must point out the other house that Saturn rules and where Saturn is currently transiting. Saturn is currently transiting Pisces here, and that is your 7th house of relationships. It could be work relationships, it could be partnerships, it could be marriage, it could be an engagement. Saturn is currently transiting Pisces, and then Saturn will be then moving into Aries. Why is this significant for you? It's significant for you, Brian, because you're going to be going into your Saturn return. Lots of people talk about the Saturn return. It's a 2.5-year period where we are squeezed by Saturn. And I would like to schedule an 11-minute with you to really focus on your Saturn return with you, because that is a more in-depth thing, and it's also a private conversation. So on these, I do a little 11-minute side conversation. So we'll talk, I'll reach out to you, and we'll schedule that as a private session. You are entering your Saturn return in 2025. You're in a 5th year profection year. So the other thing we have to discuss is the other house that Saturn rules. Remember, Saturn rules 2 houses. It rules Capricorn, and you'll see here, Saturn also rules Aquarius. Why is this very important? Because not only does Saturn rule Aquarius, that's where Pluto is. And Pluto and Saturn are going to be activating your 6th house. And 6th house is the house of daily habits, of health, of work. So we may be making some drastic changes in the next few years about the things we do every day, our habits. Maybe it's the food we eat, or the supplements we take, or the hobbies we have, because daily habits is also considered hobbies. But with Saturn activating Aquarius and with Pluto currently transiting Aquarius, until your next birthday, that 6th house of Aquarius is going to be activated. Remember, Saturn is your time lord of your 5th house profection year. It rules Aquarius, so your 6th house is also being activated, and your natal Saturn is in Aries, and so with Venus transiting Aries, that's also going to be activated. What is your 8th house in Aries? 8th house is resources. Perhaps it's your retirement account. Perhaps it's an asset that you share with others, joint resources. When we get married, maybe we open a bank account that has you and your spouse's assets together on the same thing. But it can be any assets that you have, any shared resources. And so that's really going to be one of the focal points when you enter your Saturn return in your 8th house. Does that resonate, Brian?
Yeah, it does.
Fantastic. So I look forward to chatting with you privately about those other topics that are not for public consumption. Does that resonate?
Yeah,
Many, many
thank you.
many topics in astrology, Brian, are fine for public consumption, but some of them are private. And so when things come up that need to be said and they're private, I do offer an 11-minute private. So thank you so much to everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for learning with me. Thank you for diving into sect astrology, learning how to divide our chart into both daytime charts and nighttime charts. As a review, if you have a daytime chart, your power planets are Sun, Jupiter, and Saturn. If you have a nighttime chart, your power planets are the Moon, Venus, and Mars. And remember, anytime you can look up your profection year and know what the theme of the current year is. And that knowledge is power. And owning our power and knowing what the theme of our year is very, very helpful. Remember, it's not you, it's the planets. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. I truly, truly, truly appreciate it. Until next time.